we have had a person join us obviously who is going to be recording, just to let everyone know that we are recording.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So that'll be centralised in Lancashire Council, for example, but no detail has been shared, and we don't know where that'll be and what structure that'll do. We just have to kind of wait as a group to see how that will be done. But what we need to make sure, regardless of that, sorry, Chair, regardless of that, is we need to make sure that Hyndburn gets its fair share of every bit of money that either comes into Lancashire, comes into Hyndburn, whatever it is, government, we need to make sure that we get that. And you know, the commitment from the government has been 20 million. So we talk about 3 million of UK Shared Prosperity funding, but we've now got another 20 million over 10 years, which, you know, we spread that out, it probably matches that over that amount of time. So I hope we just carry on getting that amount of funding.
Councillor Bishop.
Thank you, Chair. Yeah, obviously we welcome the Council's commitment to small businesses. The first point on page 18 under section 3.3 says that we'll engage with small businesses and the self-employed and to appoint a dedicated small business champion. I'm just wondering if you're able to shed a little bit more light on how that might work and what that might look like. And
is that on the local leadership page?
On page 18,
yeah.
Under the Federation of Small Business. I'm just wondering what that will look like and how will we engage with those small businesses to make sure that everybody has an opportunity to, like you say, we don't just represent Accrington Town Centre, there's Clayton as well, and there are quite a few small businesses within Clayton. So obviously we want businesses to have the same opportunities. So just if you've got a little bit more of a picture of how the champion small business champion, what that might look like and how the process will be.
The small business champion is essentially me. That's who they allocated as a small business champion from the local issue. That was them. That's allocated me as that post. No matter what happens, the portfolio holder essentially will be the small business champion moving forward.
Right. Sorry, it doesn't say that.
It may not say that.
Yeah.
So it may not say that in the report, but just picking on your point, which is absolutely right, around how we support small businesses and how that'll look and all levels of business. Sam, and what I'm saying, one of the things that she's going to be doing from the new year is setting up days where she'll be in the different townships. So, for example, in Great Harwood, and having surgeries for businesses to come and see her. So some of the workshops she's just developed there are very specific around topics. The next ones will be where Salma's going to be sat and waiting for business to come into her and then going out. And I know Salma, I'm not speaking out to her, and goes out to different townships and speaks to businesses directly as well. For example, you're talking to one directly, which you brought me into in Great Harwood, who are looking to expand, which is brilliant. So they're a small business currently and looking to get to a medium-sized business. Space is their biggest challenge. So that's some of the stuff that we're going to be doing moving forward. But Sam, if you want to expand on that, happy to.
That's fine. Yeah, so like docking sessions, so that's what we're planning to do around the whole of the borough. So different venues. So as I say, one Glasgow Mills, but again, similar to sort of all the other areas in Hyndburn, to make sure that everybody is aware that there is an economic development resource and somebody they can come to for business support. But there's also Boost as well. So we're part of Boost as well. So again, directing companies to get support through Boost, and that can be any company that's either starting up or pre-start, through to established companies that are looking to scale up or grow. And the low carbon support, there's international trade support from Lancashire Chamber, and that's all part of Boost. So and networking as well. So attending networking events around the whole of the borough, so different networking events, and sort of my focus as well is all of Hyndburn, not just Accrington. So I'm pretty confident that we'll reach everybody really.
Yeah. Sorry. So just to further ask, how will that be communicated to small businesses in like Clayton, for example, Great Harwood? How is that message delivered to them that this support is available and that you're available? Do you know what I mean?
Yes.
Yeah.
So we've already set up a business support page on the Hyndburn Council website, so that's one angle. And then we have, as I said, we're doing the mini workshops as well. So one of the workshops that we're doing actually is a Boost workshop to show businesses in Hyndburn what support they can get from Boost. And we've promoted them via LinkedIn, we've promoted them via sort of other social media platforms, but also other stakeholders are helping to promote them as well. So the Chamber's promoting them. I think Boost have got their own website and they're promoting it as well. So we've got other people promoting it as well to get the word out there.
Yeah.
And then again, if I go to networking events, I usually try and get like a 5-10 minutes speaking opportunity as well, so businesses are aware that, you know, this is going on. So and then as I say, we're planning to do the newsletter as well. So at the minute I'm sort of developing a database of all the different businesses in the area, so to get contact details and everything, and then hopefully that will be another channel, another way to let businesses know what's happening in the borough.
Thank
Does
you,
that answer
and
your
welcome.
question?
Yeah, and welcome to Highbury.
Thank you.
One of the things on that, just a very good question, is because a lot of businesses, when they're running their own business, it's difficult to sometimes get through to them on the basis that they're busy running their business, and it can be challenging. But one of the things that, you know, businesses do, they look on LinkedIn, which is a flurry of information now. They're coming out from Highbury Council and people promoting that. There's, you know, BNI. I know you're the council for Clayton. They meet in Clayton. One of the BNIs, they're a very active BNI. I've been to that, and I think it's just talking and it's word of mouth, speaking to people and just being there. And you go to a lot of networking things just on the basis of showing that support. And they eventually will then start to trickle and come to us. But it's just about being there, being seen, isn't it? And that database will just pick on the back of that, because small businesses, it's about being in front of them a lot of the time. If you look at how many emails do you get, if you're in a business, I know you get newsletters and all that stuff. So I think what you're doing about being out there is a lot more effective, in my view.
We've got Councillor here from the way, and then Shaheen.
Yes, I was just going to say that the information about the devolution deal is on LCC's website. There will be a series of consultations which are being set up in the new year. 1 or 2 have already happened, but they'll be all around Lancashire, including the main libraries, I believe. For people who are, they'll be in the evenings at the libraries, so people can have access to them, you know, if they're working and so on. But the main themes behind the deal are better public transport, boosting economic prosperity, and improving employment and skills. I do have some cards which I wanted to give out. The consultation process for devolution has already begun.
Is this just obviously related to the topic at hand at the minute?
It is in as much as it's about economic growth.
Right.
You know, the LCC are looking to that. That's East Lancashire in particular. There are a number of projects that will be coming into East Lancs, and so you know, it's in everybody's interest to work together on their issues.
And congratulations to you for being made the lead member of Economic Development Lancashire County Council, just not in recognition that East Lancashire needs its attention, and it will be getting its attention, and that's where, you know, because Highbury is punching now above its weight. You've now been made, you know, the lead on economic development, and we'll be working closely together.
Thank you, Zach.
Shaheen.
Yeah, thank you. Hi, Solomon.
Hi.
I know Mark, and I know Zach. Nice to
Hi,
meet
Sandy.
you.
Good to see you again.
Sorry, yeah, I always see you. Nice to see you for the last 10, 15 years. So have you been in small businesses for a long time? Advising?
Yeah, how?
The reason why I ask is, Highland Town Centre, where it's Great Harwood, Clayton, there's lots of small businesses. They don't have a business plan. Boost is not relevant. Takeaways, hairdressers. How are you focusing on helping them with their businesses?
Well,
Because in the other meeting that we had Living Up Fund, there was a mention by Steve Riley that you need a business plan. You need a business plan. But what I'm saying is, these businesses don't have business plans.
Yeah,
They just want to sell it. So how would it?
Just to stop you there, obviously that's to do with a lot of things for the market hall and obviously incoming operator, etc. Yeah, that's nothing to do with what obviously.
Okay. Well, just question is what's the feedback you've had from small businesses?
Well, the thing is, I mean, as I said, I go to a lot of networking events. Well, I'll give you an example. I go to the Unique Ladies Networking event, which is full of, which most of the people that attend there are one-person businesses or one-woman businesses. And I've sort of been a business advisor for probably over about 10, 15 years, and I've had businesses of my own as well, which have been, you know, sort of a one-man band business to sort of employing 8 or 9 people. So from that perspective, I can see it from the business's point of view anyway. And I sort of I've heard you comment about Boost, but Boost actually helps. A lot of the companies that go to Boost are sort of very small micro businesses, so they are sort of one-man band. or, you know, very definitely under sort of 10 employee type businesses anyway. And it's not about having a business plan necessarily, it's about what their aspirations are and what they want their business to achieve, you know, whether it's, you know, whether they want to grow or whether they're stuck with marketing, or, you know, it does have the mechanism to support sort of those small businesses.
But it's also just on the back of that, sorry, just on the back of that, a lot of the small businesses struggle with, you know, the basics, i.e. rent, bills, etc., because they have to cover that same amount per month, and that's challenging for a lot of small businesses who, you know, sometimes their margins are very small. And with that, so one of the things that we have done, we had a meeting with one of them last week, and we're trying to just get some traction. It's sometimes difficult, is with the commercial vacant property owners here locally in Hampton. So what I've asked is for more data on, I know we had a discussion in the last meeting last week talking about empty properties, and I spoke about commercial properties, so I don't want to repeat myself, but it's around looking at the data around empty shops and empty commercial property, not just shops, but industrial space or whatever, and seeing how we can then match those people who are struggling to find tenants with businesses that we know who Sam will come across with those, look at, you know, trying to sit between and enable them to work together, and that property owner may then turn around and say, this is a really good business, you know, we're supported, and they go into that for 6 months free rent for a 5-year lease, which is common practice in commercial property. And it's just about them being the link and enabling between the two. That then gets a shop full. It gets that business, you know, 6 months of leeway to get established in a particular area without having to pay 500 quid per month. And then it allows them to then to succeed. So it's those small bits that make a huge difference. It piles up. It's just like constant day-to-day attention that we're having with people makes a huge difference. And the community, the empty property landlord that we had a meeting with last week, it was a really positive meeting, and he emailed saying how positive it was, and it's on the industry was talking about having a small business going there, and we'll then go in and support them with boost section, support the business and liaise with the landlord to make sure that both are doing what they need to do. So it's just a small bit massively add up.
Just we'll just come obviously over to where council agreement goes, you guys went through it, and then if you've got time, come back to yourself.
You've mentioned one or two phrases, talked about growth and talked about identifying employment opportunities for what you said was good jobs.
Yeah.
Can you give us some idea of the criteria that you're using to identify those start-up businesses, small businesses, which potentially could grow?
So what you've got to look at is scope wider than Hammond, to look at what the trends are in, you know, in economic prosperity, what are the new industries coming through. So I'll pick one, you know, that links in with my portfolio sustainability is, you know, the green retrofit, whether it's cyber is a big one as well. You know, we're going to have the cyber force in Lancashire, which we're going to have to recruit thousands of people locally. BAE Systems are now, you know, pumping thousands of new jobs into their area, which will have a lot of the time really locally. So we're looking at those new trends, and one that, you know, is dear to me, which is the sustainability and retrofit, decarbonisation, net zero industry, which is what we're fortunate to have with the college a lot of interest in. So it's what you've got to do is scope what's happening, and that's the benefit of what, you know, I do day in, day out, Salma does, and Mark does, has that strategic understanding nationally and internationally about what's going on. And coming back here, so I was at COP28 in December, and what I saw there was, you know, a lot of the new industries coming through, and then I can come back and bring that down back to basics to see what can be done here. So it's scoping, looking at what the new jobs are, what training is then needed, how do we upskill people, work with the colleges to do that, work with the companies to do that, and then promote, you know, that employment locally and keeping that internally as well to make sure that they recruit within the borough, and also the ones that are setting up outside, either Burnley or Blackburn, whatever companies that are established there, getting them to come into that workforce, which is what we get feedback from the DWP, etc. And that's where the skills and employment meeting comes in, the economic policy forum comes in, because they all just have a spider web of knowledge and data which we can then make better decisions upon.
Just a bit further, expand on the response we received.
good question. I think it's important to recognise that I understand where the question comes from. It's a good question, but when it comes to criteria, we're not necessarily setting criteria because what we want to create is a economic culture environment where entrepreneurs flourish. So we don't know what the next entrepreneur is going to be, but we hope he's here in Hyndburn, and we provide the right infrastructure, if you will, for those entrepreneurs to grow and become the next versions of, you know, whatever. So I think it's just important to realise that the main thing we're trying to do here is, from an economic development function point of view and service, is make people aware that the services they have, that was Councillor Fisher's point earlier, and that people can access it and how to access it. But then we don't necessarily provide them with the direct solution. We work with many stakeholders to point that business entrepreneur in the right direction. So lots of entrepreneurs don't need help, they're creative and grow in their own right, but they might need a bit of that, like, how to get through the planning system, for example. Where's the next site going to be where I can locate my new business, that sort of thing. So there's various ways we can support business. So we're not really setting criteria. We're in effect somewhere where people need to know we're here, they can land, and we can then point them in the right direction.
But do you have a vision in the future as to what this valley will be good for?
In relation to specifically?
Yeah.
So so for me, I think we've got and I'm not saying this because it's part of the portfolio, I think we've got a massive manufacturing, industrial and construction background of just getting stuff done, and quite a manual background in East Lancashire in general, and Lancashire in general. So I think, and that's why I'm trying to work with the college to set up their own retrofit academy, etc., is because the net zero agenda is the next 30 years, and we need to be pushing that. But there's no reason, we're the heart of the industrial revolution, there's no reason why we can't be the heart of the green revolution as well. And that's what I want to keep pushing for Lancashire, and then making sure that Hyndburn in Lancashire is leader in that. So Lancashire benefits and Hyndburn benefits, but Hyndburn is pushing the way, and that is starting to become a bit more evident when we're going out there talking to both Lancashire County Council, but around the businesses as well. The Lancashire Business Day was in Hyndburn. The Festival of Business in February is now going to be made at the Duncan House in Hyndburn, and all we're talking about, a lot of that conversation is about the new way of working, that everything has to be sustainable. So we're getting the attention, but I think you're absolutely right. So I think I misunderstood slightly the question when you mentioned it initially, but the vision is to be a leader in that particular field, because we have been once and we can be again.
But also
Comes here from where?
Just a quick one, just to clarify, just because I missed it. When you were talking about vacant commercial properties, what was the deal? 6 months free rent for how many years lease?
No, so for example, in commercial property, that's it's their own owner what they want to do with it.
Oh, I see. I thought you were kind of offering a deal for them.
No, that wasn't. So we're going to have no commercial property left that is vacant as a council very shortly. When people start taking up their leases that have been agreed. So what I was just saying is what I want to do is promote to. There's an empty shop there that's been empty for 2 years. That landlord, we need to be kind of influencing, pushing to turn around and say, why don't you give it to somebody for 6 months free, and then they can sign a 5 months lease. But you give them a good start, and then they can do that, which in commercial property happens all the time. But we need to be pushing them to do that, so it's full. There's a tenant in there, and eventually it allows the business to grow. So that's what I'm trying to do and push commercial property owners to do, because otherwise it's empty. So they don't benefit.
It's difficult, isn't it? Because a lot of those properties, a lot of retail properties, are sat empty and are in real disrepair.
Yeah, they are.
I'm thinking obviously about Great Central Great Hall, right around the Town Hall Square, and it's it's going to be a difficult call to do anything with those while they're still in private ownership, but the owners know most motivation to do anything about
Yeah,
it.
it's difficult
So
because the end value, and I'm not, I know a bit about property, but the end value of them doesn't necessarily warrant the cost that it's going to be to bring them up to scratch, which is an absolute challenge. You're absolutely right there. So what we as a council need to do is, create the environment, the economic environment where that property is worth the investment into it, and that's what we're trying to do. So we have to create that domino effect, and all this money that we've got coming in that we need to spend, and we are the next 10 million that comes to 20 million, sorry, in 10 years. We need to make sure that we start a domino effect where people then think, actually, no, we're going to start investing in property because the council, the government invest in this area. So absolutely agree with you, but it's about we just have to influence them well, and I'm sure the councillors out of the borough will do the same in their own particular areas.
Councillor Haycroft?
No, I don't want to add to that, thank you.
Welcome back to yourself, Shaheen.
Yeah, you mentioned people can ring up if they're going to set up in business. Or, have you got a phone number or somebody direct that they can ring up and say, I'd like to set up a business, I need some advice, small business, do they relate to you, or do you have an economic development centre, or do you have two people? It's something that Markham mentioned 2-3 years. We just need that one,
so
two people.
Salma is the economic development manager, whoever all the inquiries go to, and she's got a work phone where people contact her directly, so it's all been dealt with, yeah.
Right, so have you done leaflets to give out to the existing businesses that you've took this post on? For them to ring you? Otherwise, how do they know they go around?
So leaflets are one thing, but actually what is about being is in front of them. So leafleting, like I said to you before about newsletters, etc., not necessarily the most effective. The newsletters being developed, but it has to be relevant to what we're doing, promoting the workshops, etc., which is what we're doing through partner agencies. But I think, so Sam will get an outlet to make everyone and anyone aware that that support is available.
Just the last question, and it might not be related to this, more of a level up fund. The new market stalls, front of Town Hall, have got 3 months rent free. Are you doing anything like that to help all the businesses in the borough?
I think I've already answered that one.
Yes, so obviously we can't control that because we don't actually have that many properties anyway.
You know, existing businesses.
Obviously, again, we can't give money out to existing businesses as a council. One, it would be not feasible financially for the council at all to do that anyway. So, government money to private businesses, and how would you select that? It would be costly.
The reason why I asked this is shocking because why are these people getting rent free? We're in the town.
So that's where.
Although we're not.
Just revert back to my answer where I said that we need to influence vacant property owners for commercial property in giving their concessions as a private owner of property. So, for example, we cannot go around and tell if Councillor Allen had a property, tell him that he has to give 6 months free. But what we can do is use our influence as a council to try and encourage that, to show that we're doing that. So what we are doing as a council and basically we're encouraging it, but we cannot tell them to do that. That's
So that's point. I can see the angle coming out. I'll have a landlord as the council, so the private tenant, because I'll get more benefits.
Is this obviously?
Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry, it is just there is a relevant question there, and it just really wants emphasising that the stallholders in the market are the council's tenants.
Yeah.
We have a contractual arrangement, they pay us rent, and clearly we've got plans for the market hall, obligations towards them, and the council make decisions on how they are going to support those tenants. The vast majority of businesses in the borough, small, large, occupy private sector premises. What no council can do is use taxpayers' money to support those businesses, because it will be unsustainable. We collect the money we collect through business rates and council tax is to provide services, not to subsidise private sector business. There are other ways we do help private sector business, and as Zach has been explaining, we are working with the private sector help and support business. And at the same time, our main priority is to signpost those private sector businesses to where they can get help and support. That's what we're doing.
Any other questions then? I think that's everything, yeah? So I think that's everything. Thank you for Vic for all coming in. It's been obviously very informative.
Chair, may I just note that we didn't get any written questions submitted to us before the meeting, so if anyone wants to provide any time, not just as the committee, but if any councillors want to ask, what are you doing? For example, there's a business here in hand and get in touch or contact Mark and Simon directly, then do so. We're not just here for committee meetings, we're here, throughout the time, so I'm happy for anyone to contact me.
Thank you. Again, thank you for all three of you for coming, obviously taking time out of your days to come to this committee. Moving on from that then, we have no other business of today, I don't think. So yeah, I think that's everything. So thank you all for coming. Obviously this is our last meeting now before Christmas, our next one's in March. Obviously if we don't see it for the January council, have a good Christmas and everything. I've also, for anyone who has any vulnerable families in their area at the minute, I have 20 cinema tickets here for anyone that knows any families that want to take kids to the cinema over December. So if you want to name something about something.
That's nice of it.
You can say it mine, Colin.
We're going to perks in the council. Why not free cinema tickets too?
What this is about is the legal consultation, which you can find on my back.
Yeah. It is, yeah.
Yeah.
Because it is all set out.
Thank you.
Well, 10 minutes late. I think we're done. Pretty darn quick. Pretty darn quick. All right. Yeah, have a nice trip to Dubai there, Councillor Khan. Nice Dubai trip, was it? Not answering. I mean, come on. Member of the public asking if you liked your holidays. I mean, I'm sure you did a little bit of work while you were there, but who paid for that? Council? Was it paid for by the council? Per cut job? Councillor Corn, come on, you can answer the public. You know, be civil to a member of the public. Only asking you about your Dubai trip. How did it go? Not answering?
I'll make you through there, Mark. Yeah.
Honestly. You just have to presume you've got a decent tan.
Don't be racist.
I'm not being
Do
racist.
you want to say that again?
I said I will have to presume you've got a
Okay,
decent
just send
tan.
me that video.
You've got a
Record
decent
that.
tan. You want to say it
Thank
15 times, I'm presuming you've got a decent tan. That's not racist, is it? My God, just because you've got more melanin in your skin than I have in mine. Terrible state of affairs. All he asked him was if he had a nice holiday in Dubai. It's hot in Dubai, isn't it?
Yeah, well, he was when I came.
Always somebody kicking off, isn't there? Do you see that there, Shahid? Do you see him kicking off, calling me a racist? Councillor Corn calling me racist because I said he got a tan. It's terrible. I mean, like, does everybody not tan?
Have a nice Christmas. And you. We don't see you again.
Is it only like you have to be my colour to get a tan? Is that the way it is? I don't know. I mean, it's not really fair, is it? Ask the council if you got a tan when you call it racist.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, do you think it's fair?
I don't know what you're talking about.
Councillor Corn, I asked him if he had got a tan in Dubai and he called me racist. Do you think that's fair? I went to Lanzarote, somebody said, did I get a tan? I wouldn't call them racist. It's not nice, is it? Member of the public asks a question.
You have to raise that with councillor Kelly.
He's not here, is he? So, I'll post it online, we'll let the general public decide. I know that's
I
uncertain.
get your point.
Okay.
Yeah, I get your point.
It is okay. Please don't accuse me of being racist again, Councillor Corn. I'm not racist.
Okay.
Thank
Can you
you.
just leave me alone, please, because you're harassing me.
I'm not harassing you. I know you what your definitions of harassment is, but me took that as a member of the public. Don't tell me what to do. If you want, I'll tell you what. I'll just stay here. You move away from me.
I wouldn't.
Go on then.
You right? Yeah, let's go upstairs.
Yeah, let's. See you. Put yourself into private. See you later.
Are
Councillor
you,
Corn.
do you wanna-
You're
I'm
going?
going to have a chat with you.
Alright, yeah, I'll do it.
Yeah, yeah. Sausage parties all round, eh?